What's going on, everybody? Good evening. Bitcoin Brandon here. We're going to have some late night crypto talk. We'll be getting started in a second here. Good evening, Jason. Good evening, Rosendo. Good evening, Shane. What's going on, Elizabeth? Lashana. Mr. Ross. Benita from Chile, Pennsylvania. It's almost Friday. These weeks seem to be going by fast and slow at the same time, if that's even possible. What's going on, Rohan? But today is soft launch day. Very excited about that. I wasn't able to do my early morning crypto talk because was been on the phone and with the programmers and the owners of the company all morning, handling and taking care of business. So we'll talk a little bit about that near the end. What's going on, AJ? Good evening, Mr. Barry, Court, and Deborah. And as a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, and share suggestions, and you take that information, do your own investigation, and make your own adult decision. You follow these 4 rules, you will have a successful time in the crypto world. And those 4 rules are: number 1, crypto education. Number 2, never deal with money you cannot afford to lose. Number 3, always go for your ROI, return on investment, as fast as possible. And number 4, have a plan of action. What's your game plan? Where do you want to be 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? Stay focused. Don't get distracted. Now, following these rules doesn't guarantee you success, but it does guarantee you'll limit your risk, and that's the best that you can ask for. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, Miss Kathy Keene from Hawaii. I only have, well, yeah, there's 2 articles I'll read tonight. Let's start with the Winklevoss twins. They're back in the news. Let's see, what do the Winklevoss twins have to talk about? All right, the Winklevoss twins propose self-regulation regime for Bitcoin exchanges. All right. What do they mean by this? In a move already mooted or played out across the globe in other countries, the famous Winklevoss brothers Cameron and Tyler have submitted a proposal for a self-regulatory body to oversee cryptocurrency markets. The brothers plan to police the cryptocurrency arena, where ICOs, trading, and trade-offs happen daily. Is actually quite a mainstream suggestion. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and the CFTC have run on a system of self-regulatory organizations, SROs, to police trading top to bottom in the formal asset sector for the longest time. All irregular movement is typically flagged by one of these bodies before an SEC investigation begins. The Winklevoss twins run the Gemini exchange that trades Bitcoin and Ether. They have made billions out of Bitcoin's meteoric rise during 2016 and 2017 and represent calculated, sober voices when speaking of Bitcoin and others. I like how he put that. Who's the author of this? Priyeshu Garg. I like the words he used. Calculated and sober voices. In other words, they're being very careful about what they say publicly about Bitcoin. They're very calculated about it. As are anybody in their type of position, even Jamie Dimon. When Jamie Dimon was running his mouth, he wasn't shooting off the cuff. It was calculated. He knew exactly what he was saying, what he was doing, and why. And it's up to us to try to figure out what the real motive is. You know, I don't trust nothing that's being said. Actions speak louder than words. So Jamie Dimon's actions was the opposite of what he was saying. But I like how the Winklevoss twins are very calculated and sober when speaking of Bitcoin and others. Optimists rather than enthusiasts. You don't understand the difference. There's a difference between optimism and enthusiasm. The brothers are unofficial ambassadors of success for virtual currencies and are now looking at their next big project in the world of digital coins. Okay, what's the next project? Billing their proposal as a virtual commodity association, they imagine a non-profit, self-regulatory organization geared to monitor all virtual currency markets, with special attention paid to custodians of the realm. As a first port of call, the body would formulate standards, enable protocols that render companies transparent and work closely with existing regulatory bodies like the CFTC to combat fraud. Currently, no regulators has direct authority over the spot markets for digital assets. All the regulators are fighting over who should have authority. You have the IRS, you have the CFTC, you have the FTC, you've got the SEC. They're all fighting over who actually has authority based on what each organization classifies Bitcoin as. Is it an asset? Is it a commodity? Is it a security? Is it currency? Each organization calls it something different. Even the states are fighting over this. You've got Wyoming, Georgia, and Nevada, Arizona, based on the new laws that they're putting, is classifying Bitcoin as a currency. You've got South Carolina, North Carolina, and Texas that classify it as a security. It's like a battle of the states. So it's going to be interesting how this plays out. This is another reason when people want to know, what are we doing legally? We got to make sure that we're legal with what we're doing and what new laws may come into place before we do anything. It's still fluid. Fluid means it's always moving. It hasn't solidified itself just yet. So let me continue. The self-regulation would also begin to facelift the digital coins that have given mainstream investors such alarm at times. In a recent interview, it was apparent that the Winklevoss brothers have a positive long-term view of cryptocurrencies. Did you hear that? Positive long-term view. They're not looking at this, how much is Bitcoin rising every day? How much is it falling every day? They're not looking at it like that. Long-term view. They're looking beyond the hype and see Bitcoin and other digital currencies as the future gold. In a joint statement, they said, the promise of virtual commodities and their impact on the future will be profound, but individuals and institutions need to feel safe and secure when transacting. I agree with that. I'm not against regulation. I am against regulation that inhibits innovation. There's a difference. You can regulate without harming your citizens and entrepreneurs. Or you can regulate by classifying everything as criminal activity and scaring your citizens from getting involved. That's a difference. Echoing the sentiments of any mature, successful market in the world, they added that they believe a thoughtful SRO framework that provides a virtual commodity regulatory program for the virtual commodity industry is the next logical step in the maturation of this market. You know, I think they're right. I would rather the exchanges to self-regulate than allow the government to come in and force some form of regulation on them. At least you've got some control on this. There is currently no directly responsible regulator overseeing the host of exchanges that trade digital currencies in the spot market. The Financial Industry Regulator Authority, which receives funding from the fraternity, is a top cop for Wall Street brokerages. Cryptocurrency is broadly governed by an amalgamation of state laws that many fear is a woefully porous and inadequate situation, inviting abuse. Brian Quintes, the CFTC Republican Commissioner, has already called for digital exchanges to form such a private regulatory body. While congratulating the Winklevoss brothers on their initiative, he spoke of their energetic leadership and thoughtful approach in outlining a virtual commodity self-regulatory organization concept. He added that he encouraged Gemini or any other market participant, advocacy group, platform, or firm to be aggressive in promoting these qualities within any SRO construct. The Virtual Commodity Association is imagined as funded by the fraternity, just like FIRA, F-I-R-A, and would regulate all U.S. exchanges and custodians, and would be funded by membership fees. I agree with that. Fiduciary duties, fiscal rectitude, information handling, and cybersecurity would all be aspects of the exchanges that the body will formulate policy on, police, and enforce through sanctions. That's not bad. It's a pretty good idea. Again, like I said, I would rather the agencies themselves, the exchanges, to govern themselves than let the government come in and attempt to do it for them. All right, let's talk about the anatomy of a Bitcoin Ponzi scheme. Again, education can help you avoid these. Or I should say, and/or. Education can help you avoid these and/or survive these. Why do I say that? Because sometimes you don't know a scheme is a scheme until it's a scheme. Meaning, something might be doing perfectly legit, doing its own thing, and the owners have the intent to scam everybody, to screw everybody over. Or market changes and they get spooked and do something silly. And anytime a company goes down in any form, the critics will automatically label it a Ponzi, whether it is or not. So if somehow you get yourself caught up in what critics are claiming to be a Ponzi, if you are educated in the crypto space, you can survive it. And what do I mean by that? Again, I go back to what I said at the beginning. My 4 pillars to success here. If you follow these, it doesn't matter if you end up being caught up in the so-called Ponzi. You will survive. How? Well, number 1, you need to get educated. You need to get educated. And by education, you're able to avoid traps. I'm looking at, and I'm not going to call out his name because he might end up listening to this, but somebody that I know just made a post. And it's called, I became a multi-millionaire from this deal in 30 days. Get on my Zoom. Really? Really? You became a multi-millionaire from your deal in 30 days. And if you want to find out how, you got to get on my Zoom to find. See, even if that is true, which I highly doubt, because I know the individual, even if it is true, that's enticement and that's illegal. Because you're going to have people that's going to hop on there, get all hyped up. And how many people are going to also become a multimillionaire 30 days from now because they got on your Zoom. And if they don't, they can sue you. False advertisement for them selling securities, promoting a Ponzi scheme. I'm telling you right now, there are only a few ways to become a multi-millionaire in 30 days in the crypto space. 2 ways. Number 1, you must have multi-millions of dollars already in resources that you decide to trade with or invest with. That's going to make you some money in 30 days on that. That's number 1. Number 2, it still requires you having a whole lot of money. That somehow you got in on an ICO, put millions of dollars in when it was cheap, and 30 days later, somehow it got on the blockchain and you cashed out and you made millions. Based on my experience, if there's another way, I have not been exposed to it yet, and I call BS on it. And this is the stuff you have to look out for. If you're educated, you know, you see something like this, I immediately know I call BS. I'm tripping on this. I became a multi-millionaire from this deal in 30 days. And what am I just talking about? What's the topic tonight? How to avoid crypto Ponzi schemes. Whenever you see anybody doing any advertisement like this, you run the other way. Run the other way. Some of you are on here, you know exactly who I'm talking about because you probably see the same thing. You just posted it on Facebook. I'm like, really? I became a multi-millionaire from this deal in 30 days. Dude, I just talked to you less than 30 days ago. You were not a multi-millionaire. All right. And here's another reason why education is so important. I got let me see if I can find it. I told you guys every day I get asked questions. And it's because of that why I'm so excited about cryptogenics. So that I don't have to answer these questions. You can imagine 90% of my day is being spent. 90% of my day is being spent answering questions. Yeah, I love to help people, but time is money, baby. So instead of me spending all my time answering that, I'm going to get paid for doing it by pointing you to a legitimate source that's going to give you the information you need. You're absolutely right about that, Jesse. All right, here's one. Oh, yeah, I got a couple questions today. Here's one question. Hi, I'm fairly new to crypto. What altcoin should I invest in either venture? What should I invest in? Hold on, I got to tell my friends I am doing a Facebook Live right now and just called this BS out. I don't care. People don't scare me. All right. So I got this question. Hey, I'm fairly new to crypto. What altcoin should I invest in? Number 1, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be given financial advice. If I were to answer this guy's question and say, oh yeah, you should invest in this coin and this Y, you know, I can't do that. I can give suggestions. My suggestion to him was the best way to start, get any of the top 10 coins. They've been on the market for a while. All right, you got to do your own research. You got to do your own research. Another question I got today. Let's see if I can find that. I was advised by a friend to follow you on Facebook as a person who wants to understand cryptocurrency. Okay, so that's one person. They want to understand cryptocurrency, so they decided to follow me. All right, nothing wrong with that. Let me see here. Where was that other one? It might take me too long to dig through this. But not a day goes by that I don't, get questions. And that's okay. But the most important thing is education is the key. Period. Education is the key. So let me get back to this article here. The anatomy of a Bitcoin Ponzi scheme. And for those of you that just came on late, I will repost it in the chat box. And let's hit this one. Bitcoin scams have become such a prevalent phenomenon in the cryptocurrency space that they have become a topic of discussion at the annual Financial Cryptography and Data Security Conference. Never heard of that before. Learn something new. The 22nd? This is 22 years old? Bitcoin's only 9 years old. Go figure. The 22nd Financial Cryptography and Data Security Conference was held from February 26th to March 2nd in Curacao. The convention is an annual event organized by the IFC, International Financial Cryptography Association. Wow, this thing is 12 years older than Bitcoin. The conference is a forum through which members of the scientific community present and discuss findings related to all aspects of securing digital transactions and cryptographic systems. There is a link here to this group. I am going to open it up, save it, because this history predates Bitcoin, which means I want to know about it. What have they been doing all this time, and what have they been discussing? And do I see any of them as having anything to do with Bitcoin and its development? So I put the link to that one if you want to do your own research to this organization. So this is their 22nd year they've been meeting. All right, what are you all about? Interested parties are required to submit original papers that touch on the technological details as well as real-world deployments. Remember I said the other day, guys, why history is important and why you don't just go to YouTube and type in what's Bitcoin. Is you got to know the history of it. That Bitcoin didn't start in 2008 and 2007. It started from the birth of our nation. If you understand the history of money. So that's why this piqued my interest. 22 years ago, okay? So let's see here. As the conference aims to bridge the gap between the technology and its real-world applications, papers with a focus on commerce, system security, as well as interdisciplinary works are highly welcomed. The goal of the conference is to bring security and cryptography researchers and practitioners together with economists, bankers, implementers, and policymakers, the conference website states. So the Bitcoin Ponzi scheme ecosystem. While a number of papers were presented at the summit, a report prepared by Mary Vasic and Tyler Moore of the University of New Mexico and the University of Tulsa, respectively, is probably of most interest to the Bitcoin community. The researchers presented a paper that seeks to delve into the world of Bitcoin-related scams. The findings were compiled in a document called Analyzing the Bitcoin Ponzi Scheme Ecosystem. Following an in-depth analysis of a large number of submissions on Bitcoin-related forums, such as the Bitcoin Talk Forum, the researchers were able to determine a number of different metrics related to Bitcoin fraud. Oh, really? You really got my interest. Let me see what you found out with. While these findings mostly relate to Bitcoin, it is a leading digital currency. As a leading digital currency, it is possible to extrapolate these findings and bring to light the fraudulent schemes involving alternative cryptocurrencies. Okay. The duo compiled the data on Bitcoin Ponzi schemes through an in-depth analysis of Bitcoin Talk forum threads. Okay. As a side note, the website was created in the same year Bitcoin was launched and can be thought as a database of community sentiment since 2008. Okay, that's pretty good. It is also a platform that the cryptocurrency community can use as an easily accessible conduit through which they announce research, technological developments, as well as advertise related products and services. And there's already one doing that's called Reddit. and steam it. All right, let me continue. The website is ranked in the top 1,000 websites globally by Alexa, giving an idea of the popularity and active nature of its users. Really? Have you guys heard of this site? Have you heard of this organization? It's ranked in the top 1,000 websites globally by Alexa. I've never heard of them before. I do freaking Bitcoin talks twice a day for the last, what, 7 months? This is all news to me. Here's what they say. Their decision to focus on the Bitcoin Talk forum. We chose this as our sole source for this work based both on its popularity in the Bitcoin ecosystem and its popularity within the subsection of Ponzi scheme investors within the Bitcoin ecosystem. All right, I've read half of this article and still haven't said nothing yet about what do they think a Bitcoin Ponzi scheme is. You got to come strong on this one. Let me finish here. See if they come strong. Due to the considerable traffic witnessed on the website, it was imperative for the researchers to limit their scope of the study to only those threads that held relevant information, such as they focused on 3 specific subforums: scam accusations, games and rounds, and investor-based games threads. Vasic and Moore studied 11,424 threads on these subforums and were able to find a large number of Ponzi schemes, 1,780 to be exact. Okay, before I even continue, I question what, in their words, because it's easy to throw around Ponzi. There's critics out there that think every single network marketing company in MLM is a Ponzi, and that's not so. What is your definition of a Ponzi? They have not defined here. So if you say you found 1,780 to be a Ponzi, based on who? Based on whose word? Based on what facts? Maybe you maybe I'm about to find that out. But like I said, I don't read things and just take anything at face value. I question everything. So I'm questioning this group so far. Let me continue here. Using the information contained within the threads relating to Ponzi schemes, the researchers were able to determine a reliable way to determine the lifespan of such a fraudulent apparatus. Okay, let me stop right there as well. Just because something fails doesn't mean it was a Ponzi scheme. Let's take traditional business. 90% of any new business fails within their first year. 90%. Second, 90% of the companies that make it past their first year fail within their first 5 years. Are all those companies schemes and scams because they failed and investors who invested in the company lost their money? Are those scams? So Mr. Branker asked, what's a Ponzi to you? For me, I'll answer that question at the end of this article. I want to see what they come up with first. I don't want to taint any of you guys' perception just yet. So let's hold that question to the end. So they say, oh, it looks like they're about to answer this. We consider the opening time a scheme was operational to be the first time it was advertised on Bitcoin Talk. Bitcoin Talk? Is any of you guys on Bitcoin Talk at all? Or heard about that? I've never been on Bitcoin Talk. And the closing time to be the last comment on time on threads relating to the scheme. The difference between these times is a lifetime of the scam. That's not true. And here's why. Because a company that might be considered a Ponzi or a scam and it closes down, that means it's effectively not in business anymore. Yet people could still be talking about it for months later. Like, hey, am I going to get my investment back? Are they going to come back? I mean, is the court date set yet? Have they found the founders yet? That can go on for months. So how do they judge? Oh yeah, so but when the last comment is made, I guess that's when that's the lifetime of the scam. Yeah, I'm questioning this research. What's my qualifications to question? I didn't know I needed a qualification to question. Somebody just taught me that. that as a message. One, I am a college graduate. I'm 2 semesters away from a master's degree if I choose to do so. I have 19 years experience in the network marketing space. I've made a whole lot of money in the Bitcoin and crypto space. I've been a part of things that were legitimate and things that were considered scams. I know the ins and outs. All right, let me finish here. The threads were also composed of 3 distinct parties: the scammers, the shills, and the victims. Let me stop right there on the victims. If you follow the 4 principles, you will never be a victim in this space. You'll never see me being a part of some class action lawsuit or running on YouTube making a video on how I lost all my money because I trusted somebody. I lost my savings. I lost my house. No, 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 no. You had no business being here in the first place. You're not a victim. You learned a lesson and you lost. You made some bad decisions. You never know the intent of whoever you're doing business with. But you're taking that risk. Learn from it and move on. Stop crying and boo-hooing and go on to the next thing that you can find something that's going to make you some money. Wasting your time, you have no business being in this space. That's why in the stock market that they eliminate all the people who would consider themselves victims by the fact that it costs at least $250,000 to $1 million to be involved in the first place. You're considering you're a victim in the crypto space. You don't have no business even being here. You can't afford to be here. Let me continue. Scammers would be those who would post the Ponzi schemes originally, while victims would be those who would comment on the post and were verified to be neither the scammers or shills. The paper described shills as victims who post only about a single scam. What? What the heck? See, this is when you get nerds that probably have never been in the space themselves. They don't have any skin in the game. And they're trying to put some form of a mathematical formula to this. And it's not. It's emotional. You can't put an algorithm to emotions and intent. This whole thing is BS. You know, in all due respect, because they do come from 2 high top-notch universities, right? That's why you got to learn to question stuff. But this is interesting to read, how they are breaking the algorithm, how they can tell what's a scheme, what's a Ponzi or not. Here's a quote. While not all shills only post about one particular scam, and not all posters with history, on only one scammer thread are shills, we have concluded from manual inspection that this simple approach provides an effective approach to identify many shills without miscategorizing legit. What the heck are you talking about? I can't even break that one down in layman's terms because it really makes no sense. They're approaching this from a completely irrational standpoint. This would work if everybody were automatons and everybody were drones. Here's one factor. You might have some gullible person who has no investigation skills. They get excited about a project. They have nothing to do with corporate. They have nothing to do with putting the program together itself. They have no intent to scam anybody. They get excited about a program, but they have very good marketing skills, and they market the thing to death, and then it turns out to be a scam. Guess what? They're also a victim as well. But the way this thing is programming it as, oh, well, they're also a scammer. You can't base things in white and black here, based on a mathematical algorithm. There's something called psychology, that you got human nature, emotions. And when money is involved with people who don't have a lot of money, emotions is very much tied into their money. If you have a whole lot of resources, your emotional attachment operates differently. $100 to one person could mean everything. $100 to another person is pennies. It's the same $100, but the way you react to it is differently. Why? Based on emotions. This doesn't take that into account. Let me go to their conclusion. Let me see what this means. The research conducted by Vasek and Moore highlights the amount of fraudulent Bitcoin activity is prevalent in at least one primary online cryptocurrency forum. Hence, whenever you come across an investment scheme or a new highly profitable cloud mining platform that is being promoted and talked up on forums such as Bitcoin Talk or other social media platforms like Reddit, be wary that many of these proposals are likely to be fraudulent. False! 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 I scream false to the room. Here's an example. Genesis Mining just got hit with a cease and desist order in South Carolina. Does that mean that they're fraudulent and they're scamming? No. They've been in business for years. They've been doing exactly what they say they do. They've been providing profits for whoever's been using it. The reason why they have a cease and desist order in South Carolina is because South Carolina decided that they want to call Bitcoin and anything in the altcoins as a security, and saying that they're advertising for people to buy a security in the hopes of making profit. And if you want to sell a security, you have to be registered and licensed in South Carolina, and Genesis Mining was not. That doesn't mean that they're a Ponzi scheme, or that they're a fraud, or that they're trying to scam people. You see this? This is why you have to question everything. According to these people, it's a scam. No, it's not. It's just legal issues they have to work out with. Now, if they decide to shut the door and run off with everybody's money and you don't get your money back, then it's a scam. Let me continue here. Due to the pseudo-anonymous nature of Bitcoin and most altcoins, cryptocurrencies have become the new go-to payment method for Ponzi schemes in particular. Furthermore, thanks to social media, these scams can be propagated all over the world. That part is true. Point in case being BitConnect, which was exposed to be the cryptocurrency community in January 2018. No, it wasn't. What? BitConnect's been around since 2016. What are you talking about? Was exposed to the cryptocurrency community in January 2018. No, January 2018 is when they got a cease and desist order from Texas and they pulled out. In reality, cryptocurrency Ponzi schemes are easy to identify. This entire article hasn't shared one example of how a Bitcoin Ponzi scheme is easy to identify. It says it should not be too difficult for the average user to fall for them. Wrong. They all have the following three characteristics. Okay, all right, this is going to be good. They offer high than usual returns. So in their words, any business that offers high than usual returns, what is your basis for usual returns? Are you basing it based on what Forex does? Are you basing it on what the stock market does? Because if you do so, then that's like comparing apples to oranges. If Bitcoin itself can go from 1,000 in January to almost 20,000 in December, look at that growth rate. That means whoever is in business is also growing at a proportional growth rate. Show me the stock market growing that fast in that short period of time. Because if it does, then the companies in the stock market will also offer higher than usual returns based on the value of whatever it is that's rising in value, the product. If the crypto market jumped, for example, if Bitcoin itself went from a $20 billion market cap to a $250 billion market cap in less than a year, the numbers don't lie. Then whatever is attached to that is also growing in tandem. I don't understand how you can pay higher returns. It grew like 2,000%. What do you expect? That's part one. I just shot that crap down. Number two, they say, have well-paying referral programs that encourages users to invite other investors into the scheme and provide little to no information about the people behind the operation. All right, stop. Let me go back, because that's one run-on sentence. Let me get back to number 2. Have well-paying referral programs that encourage users to invite other investors into the scheme. Stop right there. Every direct selling company, especially when they first get started, use the direct selling method of word of mouth to build their brand and their company. There is absolutely nothing wrong with offering a referral program to pay for recruiting. Guess what? Coinbase does. You get $10 every time you sign somebody up and refer them to Coinbase, and they fund their account with $100. You get a $10 bonus from Coinbase. So technically, if I'm a great marketer, I can go out there and market the hell out of Coinbase, get 5,000 people to sign up, and I make $10 per 5,000 people. According to this article, that's illegal. That's a scam. Because I made 50 grand off of Coinbase. Get out of here with that. Every single one. Every entity out there has some form of a referral bonus. Even Amazon does. eBay does. Everybody does. So that's false. And then the third thing they say. It provides little to no information about the people behind the operation. Okay, let's stop right there. Again, you can't say that's true or not. How many corporations are there out there right now that are set up in a way where you don't know who the owners are? If that's the case, then call Bitcoin a fraud and a scam right now. You don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. So they presented 3 ways to identify a fraud and a scam. While some maybe, well, let's put it this way. While the scammers out there can make these things true, not all of them that have these things are scam and Ponzi's. A mentor of mine back in the day said one thing. Success leaves clues. And they were teaching me about their books that I need to read for personal development. And they said this line that stuck with me for the rest of my life. And I heard it when I was 21 years old. They said, here's a hint in this space. All successful people in this space say that you need to read these books. Now, I cannot guarantee that you're going to have success because you read these books. But what I can guarantee you is all the successful people have read these books. So what should I do? I should read the books. It's not going to guarantee me success, but all the successful people have read them. All right, now let me answer the question. What is a Ponzi scheme? And I'll even go so far as give you some examples of how to avoid some Ponzi schemes. So what is a Ponzi scheme? And why is a Ponzi illegal? The real definition of it is the exchange of goods and services, or better yet, the exchange of a money without the exchange of goods and services. Why is that illegal? Because a receipt is not being generated. This goes back to the two-ledger system, banking system. A receipt is not being generated. And what does a receipt do? A receipt is your copy of proof of a transaction. So if you ever have to challenge it, you go to court, you go to the banks, whatever, you've got proof of a transaction. It is also there for tax purposes. Because when you have proof of something, then you have something that you got to pay taxes on. If you're exchanging money, no receipt is being generated, which means no taxes is being recorded, which means the tax man, the government, isn't getting their cut. Therefore, it's illegal. That's basically the IRS definition of that. Hey, we're not getting our cut. It's not being recorded. No product or good is changing hands. You're just passing money around. And you might think, well, what's wrong with that? People should be able to do whatever they want with their money. That's true, but then you get into money laundering and fraud. and other illegal activities. That's why you need a receipt. It's illegal. The exchange of money without the exchange. So let's look at, if you look at Ponzi companies as far as network marketing is concerned, based on the law. It's where they believe you're using a product that nobody really cares about, that people wouldn't actually buy that product if there were no network marketing side, and it's just a front for people to come in and pass money around to pay bonuses. And at the end of the day, the people at the top make all the money, and the people at the bottom have nothing. And when the company closes, the people at the bottom are left empty-handed. Only a few people make a lot of money. That's what they call the pyramid scheme. What makes these things legal and legitimate? There is actually a product and service that people are using. They're paying for the product. You can make money on the product, not just recruiting. You have legitimate customers who want to be customers and not even actually be a part of the business building side. That's why companies like Coinbase can have a referral program attached to it. They actually have a product and service that people want to use. Now let's talk about in the crypto space. And it gets a little dicey here, because in the crypto space, they call that illegal anyway. Why? Because the government cannot control Bitcoin. Therefore, they have no idea how much taxes they should be making from it. You guys understand that? They have no idea from the taxes. Therefore, they're already skeptical of Bitcoin. And they're doing everything in their power now to regulate it so that they can get their hands on the taxes of it. Going after Coinbase. Going after all the exchanges. So now the exchanges are going to have to print out 1099s. They're going to be recording all your transactions. If you see a business that's trying to avoid all of that, red flag. Red flag. You got the intent of the owners. They're trying to do something underhanded. So if they're attempting to avoid the current laws, red flag. If they refuse to cooperate or adapt to current laws, red flag. For example, if a company, this is why I want to see what happens with what Genesis Mining does. If they get hit with a cease and desist order and they're saying, due to our definition, we believe you are selling securities. Therefore, you've got 30 days to get your lawyers over here, show us your business plan, and agree to register and pay whatever fine or whatever thing you need to pay, fee you need to pay to be registered in our state. If the company refuses to do so, red flag. They don't have any intent to be doing anything legally. Now you see the intent of the owners. So I want to see what Genesis Mining does now. Will they attempt to be legitimate in South Carolina? Because if they don't, it'll be a domino effect. All the other states will follow suit. It'll be North Carolina and Texas will be next. And then Canada will do the same thing on all cloud mining services. Will they do what they need to be done since the government says they're selling a security? Or will they be on the lazy tip and say, you know what? We've got business all around the world. We don't need the United States. We just won't do business in the United States. Red flag. Not for them, for you. Because now you have no representation. You have no recourse. If something were to ever go wrong with Genesis Mining and you figured out how to use a VPN, whatever, to continue doing business with them, you have no recourse. And they can do whatever they want. Who are you going to go to? The government says, hey, we already sent them a cease and desist order. You decided to continue to do business with them. Red flag. Here's another one. And this may hurt some of you. Advertising. Advertising. You see somebody talking about you're going to become a millionaire in 30 days. I already said it earlier. There's only two ways that's possible in this space. Unless something has happened that I haven't been informed about. Watch who you're listening to. Watch the advertising that's going on, the hype. This is where you use common sense. Like, come on, man, really? Are you serious? Even if it's true, they can get in trouble. You want to know why? It only takes one clown to not listen, not follow directions, lose all their money because they didn't do things the right way, and they run to the government and say, this company promised me I was going to be a millionaire in 30 days. I lost all my money. Enticement. Bam, you're going to get slammed. Whenever you are dealing with finances, people's money, never make income claims. Never talk about how much money somebody's going to make. Never talk about what percentage they're going to make per day. Never talk about what they're going to make per month. Leave all of that crap out. The only thing you should be talking about is the value of the product you're offering and the ability to earn income by using it. That's it. Don't show back offices. Don't show screenshots. Don't be showing dashboards. Oh, I made 40K last month. I'm a millionaire 30 days. You are going to get slammed so hard. Do you realize that one of the top money earners from USI-Tech got raided by the FBI this week? Raided. They took all his stuff and his Bitcoin and crypto. Why? Because of the way he was advertising, promising returns, promising to make money, promising to get rich. All it takes is one person. And there's an entity out there. There's a group of people. You can call them haters or whatever you want, that hate this space so bad. And I would tend to think that these are people that got in Bitcoin and stuff early and they lost and they're butthurt over it. And they made it like their life mission to go after any company in the crypto space, legitimate or not. In any company, they're reporting to the states, to the SECs. Doesn't matter what they're doing. There's a group of people that are doing that. That's like their mission in life. And you're putting a red target on your back, talking about how much money you made or what somebody can make if they join your program. You think you're not being monitored? You are. Did you know the IRS has already hired people on social media to go around and narking on people? They're taking a database, a list of people, anybody talking about crypto. I know I'm on their list. I do 2 of these doggone things a day. That's why I watch what I say. And they're getting paid. Because one of the biggest things the IRS has is they have a manpower problem. They don't have enough manpower to cover all this stuff. So they basically created their own network marketing company because someone tried to hire me on it. That's what I thought was funny. Dude came to my inbox talking about, hey, you want to make some money? The IRS is hiring people on Facebook to be, you know, watching out Facebook and making a list of people that talk about crypto. I said, are you serious? I'll make sure I'm banning you right now. There ain't no hiding in social media. Be careful what you do, what you say, and who you're listening to. It's exactly why everybody, when we talk about cryptogenics, they want to know about the bot. Why aren't you telling me about the bot? It's not about the bot. It's about education. We're going to teach you everything that you need to know. All the skills and knowledge. We'll even have a virtual assistant with our app there for you, so that you can then apply the knowledge that you've learned. I did. I applied. I learned this stuff through a crypto education platform last summer. And I applied it and I made a boatload of money because of it. The education is what is making us what we are. The education is what we're bringing not just to the market, we're bringing to the world. 50% of people in the United States have been exposed to Bitcoin. 5% own a piece of a Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency. 0.5% even know what it is. I'm shocked. You don't know how many times I hear somebody that's invested $100,000, $200,000 in something, and they ask me some basic questions. They have no idea what's going on, what this space is. They just have access to money. And they're the most dangerous people, because when they lose and they don't have any understanding on why, they scream that they got screwed, that they lost their house, they lost their life savings. They run to the government. They do a class action lawsuit. All that crap. They're the worst people to be in this space. Uneducated with money. They create the most damage. They may win for a little bit, but when they lose, all hell breaks loose. And that's the one thing that I can guarantee. You will lose. I guarantee it. I didn't say you're going to lose your house, but you will lose. I don't know how much. I don't know when. I don't know where. But if you follow my 4 core principles, you minimize your loss. In fact, the only thing you lose is future profit. Because here's what I found based on my experience. No matter what crypto program that you become a part of, whether legitimate or a scam, because sometimes you don't realize something's a scam until it's a scam. Especially if the law changes on you. But whether legitimate or a scam, if you follow these 4 principles, you'll be okay. Again, number 1, crypto education. Education allows you to maneuver in this space. It allows you to read articles and realize that it's BS. See, if you're not educated, you'll read a news article and think that it's law because it's a news article. You'll listen to Fox Business News and think that they're telling the truth. For example, people in December that had no idea what Bitcoin and crypto was, but they got money, see that their buddies are getting rich in this crypto space, so they decide to drop 100 grand into Bitcoin when it was worth $18,000 a doggone coin, because they think it's going to keep going up, keep going up. They're getting excited. It went up to 19,000, 19,500, 19,800. They're all excited. They're about to get rich, and all of a sudden the sucker drops down to $12,000 in less than 30 days. And what did they do? Scream and cry bloody murder. But what was the Fox Business News doing? Oh, the Bitcoin fever is here. Investors are jumping into it. The CME and the CBOE is all here. People, don't get left out. Buy some Bitcoin now. And then when it dropped, we told you guys it was a bubble. We told you it was a scam. We told you that it was going to crash. Yeah, they called it the Bitcoin crash. We told you that people are going to lose their money. It's best to sell now so you don't lose everything. Sell, sell, sell. Now, what did they just do? This is actual on the news. People are looking at it because people tell me, Brandon, why should I listen to you? Who are you? When I can listen to a news report. They must be somebody. They're on the news. Really? The news told you to buy high and sell low. Does that even sound right to you? Buy high and sell low? That's what the news told you to do. But if you're educated, you don't listen to that crap. And you know, no, you sell high and you buy low. You're able to tell when somebody approaches you with a business if it's BS or not. If you're educated. The next thing, never, ever, I said this back in September, August of last year, never invest with money you cannot afford to lose, period. You know what I invested with? $100. $100. Never invest with money you cannot afford to lose. Number 3, always get your return on investment back. ASAP. I don't care how much profit you're making. Don't get greedy. Get it back. Don't be like them clowns in Vegas. They're winning and they think they're on a hot streak and they keep on going. Why? Because the house always wins at the end of the day. The stock market never goes up. The news is quick to call Bitcoin a crash. Yet the stock market lost 1,500 points in 30 minutes while Donald Trump was giving a live speech talking about how great the economy is because of him. Did they call that a crash? It was a single worst loss in history. They didn't call that a crash. They added to the FUD. They added to the fear. They didn't do so in the stock market. Why did they do so in Bitcoin? Because there was an agenda. So get your ROI back. And here's what I found. Like I said, whether it's a legitimate business or a scam, normally within 60 to 90 days, you get the money that you originally started with back. And that's not counting if you're investing in the coins themselves and sitting and letting and holding it. I'm talking about programs out there. Normally 60 to 90 days. After that, you're playing with house money. You made your money back. You limited your risk. So if you lose, all you lost was future profit. And the fourth thing is almost as important, well, yeah, just as important as number one, education, is having a plan. Because if you're educated, you will have a plan. Where do you want to be in 30 days, 60 days, a year? What do you want this money to do for you? Because your money is working for you. Have a backup plan and a backup plan to that backup plan. And stay focused. Don't get distracted. There's so much stuff in this space. I can't tell you how many times people know I've got the #1 position on my side in cryptogenics. We're going to put over 200,000 people in business in 6 months. We're launching in 26 countries. I know of at least 26, 27, 7 and 8 figure earners already here on our team. Yet somebody comes to me and says, hey, Brandon, you got to join this company and be in my downline. Check it out. I'm like, did you not just hear a word that I just said of what I'm currently doing? Yeah, but you got to be diversified. Join this company, man. Get in on this. Drop 50K over here. And that's not just one. I get that 10, 15 times a day. I have owners of other companies that call me up. One called me up last week. Hey, you know, I got $100,000 for you if you come and help us get this thing started. 100 grand. You can't be a part of everything. Remember, your resources are limited. Treat it as such. And as you take your profit, you use your profit and invest it in something else. It's like real estate. Buy yourself a duplex, live in one and rent out the other. Now the money you're making from the other is paying your own rent, so you're living rent free. As you make more money, buy more. Buy more property, buy more houses. You work your way up. It's the same way. You don't think Warren Buffett is invested in every single company in Fortune 500. He's not. Doesn't mean that all those other companies are bad. You just can't be a part of everything. Yes, diversify, but you need to make some money first to diversify with. So with that, that's all I wanted to share. You know, you got to watch out in this space, because I do still think that 90% of businesses that are attempting to do something in the crypto space, I won't necessarily call them a fraud or a Ponzi. I would say that they're probably not compliant with current laws. Now, the laws could change in the future. Who knows? But they're not compliant with current laws. Just as when Vima got shut down by the SEC, and the SEC came out with their ruling with the customer to rep ratio, guess what? Immediately, 90% of the network marketing companies were automatically not compliant. Just from that ruling. Does that mean they're all Ponzi schemes? No. They're just not compliant. They have enough time to regulate themselves and get themselves compliant. Or they can play Russian roulette and just wait till the day the SEC decides to knock on their door. And then deal with it then. You know, it depends on what the owner is doing. But don't be so quick to be labeling stuff, especially when you have no full understanding. I spent hours a day on this stuff. And I got people that question me all the time. People that I actually respect. And I just click at them and I listen. But here's one thing that I know. I know what you don't know. I know things you don't know. Until you do the research that I've done, I don't accept your opinion. It's just your opinion. Because had I listened to people last year, I'd be on a 9-to-5 job broke right now. Had I listened to people who said they had my best interest at heart. Watch who you're listening to. All right, I hope you guys learned something from that tonight. If you came on late, definitely go back to the beginning and listen to the beginning so you don't miss out on anything. But I'm real excited. Today is soft launch day. What does that mean? Because you guys keep asking, well, what's your link? What's your link? There is no link yet. Soft launch means that we're stress testing the system. We're putting people in the system, making sure that it's working and doing everything that it's supposed to do. The leaders and the founders and the pinnacles, they're all going in. May happen for the next 5, 6, 7 days. After that, we may get our links to start stressing it even more and giving it out to people we have on our list. All ready for 15 days from now, the pre-launch for April 1st. So it's exciting times. We've been working on this for months. We're ready to open the doors and get things cranking. I'll be in London next month. I'll be in Sweden next month as well. I was talking to one of the co-founders, Will. Didn't realize Will, he's going straight to Sweden. Then from there he's going to Vietnam, and then from there he's going to Thailand. You think we're playing with this? We're not looking to launch a 6-month deal. We're looking to build a legacy company. You think I came out of retirement of MLM for some rink-a-dink thing? No, I have the knowledge to let my money work for itself. But I believe passionately in the mission. And the mission is to bring crypto education to the masses around the world. Because I know, it's not my belief, I know that this is the greatest economic shift in wealth in the history of mankind for the most amount of people. Why do I say that? Because if you have access to the internet, you have access to this technology and this wealth. The problem with that statement is that most people don't even know it's going on. It's like knowing that the Super Bowl is being played, but you don't know where it's being played or when it's being played, or that there's even a Super Bowl game going on. Ignorance is bliss. How can you learn something if you don't even know it exists? So I'm passionate about the ability to bring crypto education to the world, especially the disenfranchised. It's not a race thing, it's a class thing. So it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Latino, or Asian, and you're in poverty. This can lift you up if you know about it. And that's what we're going to be able to do. That's our mission. That's my passion. The money will come. I don't need to hype my business by talking about how much money we're going to make. The money will come. The mission is helping people. And the mission is not helping people make money. The mission is helping people get educated. You understand the difference? That's our marketing. So with that, thank you guys for listening in. Bitcoin Brandon out. I will see you tomorrow morning on Early Morning Crypto Talk. God bless. Good night. Bye-bye.
Crypto Gen X.